All right, welcome back to the Madcore Hunter podcast. You got me and Danny this week. Uh, got some stuff going on. Just I haven't even talked to you much, Danny. We've been pretty busy with fall starting and everything. So what have you been up to, man? I called you last night. You were at the banquet.
Yeah, I went to a Pheasants Forever banquet and donated a little money there, and it wasn't too bad a time. Kind of get
Yeah.
honestly, just to be honest about it, starting to get a little burned out. We've done this for several years now, and it's like it's always the same people. I think it's kind of died out up here in Williston. The banquets used to be a really big deal. There's still a lot of people that go, but used to be some really nice guns and stuff like that, and that's kind of dropped off. I think donations have dropped off a little bit, but they're fun if you haven't been. But we've been so much that they're starting to just kind of get a little old.
Do
But
you think it's just you're getting used to the experience? Are people
I
getting out of it?
guess
Social media is where people are spending more of their money. What do you think?
they still earn a bunch of money. I mean, they do a lot of good stuff. There was a woman there that somebody had donated a gun trying to raise money for this woman. She had come up with disease and Um, it was really good to see anytime they got something like that where they're trying to raise a little bit of money for somebody. Like it was a pistol, and I think they got people kept buying it. They were buying it on a live auction, and then they would donate it back to re-auction it off. And it raised 20K probably for that woman last night. So
Really?
yeah, so there's a lot of good that come out of it, and I like supporting the different organizations, but just us, we've went in there and we donate a lot of money and we try to win some guns and stuff like that, but it just is kind of played out from our end a little bit. And it's hard for me when I'm there not to, try to win a gun or something. So end up dropping some money that I would have been better off spending on something that I wanted.
Yeah.
But
You've won.
yeah, I've done well with them. There's nothing with that. I did get me a new I got on a silent auction. I didn't really win it. I bought it, but you seen those Chiefland upland jackets?
Yeah.
The I've looked at buying them a couple times, but they're pretty high dollar. But did all right on that and got a Pheasants Forever one last
The
night.
vest.
Yep.
Yeah, I looked at Chief Upland, but dude, I'm telling you, of course, Kuyu sold out and then they raised the price $50. But I watched the video, man, like Kuyu's vest for the price just looked really good. Like they thought of a lot of stuff and it was a little, which I think it's $300 now, but I think the Chief Upland, by the time you add all the accessories on, because it's a Molly system, I mean, it's like almost 400 freaking dollars, from my
Yeah,
understanding.
I've had it in my like on the computer multiple times where I was like, I'm gonna get this. I really like it, and
Yeah.
then it's just too expensive. That's what I'm saying. Like I basically paid price for just the vest, and it came with a bunch of the pockets and stuff. So I did pretty well there last night on that.
Well, you have to let me know how you like it because I know it fits closer to your body. And I've looked at them, Final Rise, Marsupial. The biggest thing, and people don't realize, is you don't want a big, like, thick pad. Like, you want it, I guess, for comfort, but you don't want it for shouldering your gun because I do have a Cabela's Instinct when I was working there. I got a heck of a deal. It's a nice vest, but it has a thicker pad. And, like, not only does it push my gun out a little bit because you'll do that with jackets and such, but it brings the stock up kind of weird. You know what I mean? Like it's an obstruction there that's not your shoulder pocket. So I'm not big
Man,
on it, but it's not like we do a ton of trips.
bird season has started up here, and you see quite a few guys out right now. I've noticed it, especially this last week. A lot of hunters are up here, and pheasant starts. I think it starts next weekend because like that kind of messes me up and us guys that are non-residents deer hunting because we can't hunt a bunch of the property that's
They,
public,
they shut it down.
all the wildlife areas. So we have to really kind of cipher out where we're going because for the most part we can't hunt the stuff around here that we would normally hunt next weekend. Because the first 7 days of pheasant season, they don't allow non-residents to hunt any of the public ground.
Hmm.
any wildlife area or the plots.
Well, it's just I thought about going up to Michigan and doing a little grouse hunting around Thanksgiving, and I think that week or 2, they shut down grouse season for the deer hunters. I think
Really?
it's rifle season or something up there. Yeah, or if there's, like, a break within their season, you know? So, yeah, I don't know, there's always stuff to battle with that. We went to Illinois to put a bunch of stands up. I left directly from work Friday, and we put a box blind up, and that took a while actually, because that took more than we thought, and the 2x4s and such, and then bracing it up and getting the ladder up, and we wanted to tie it down for wind, so we used some anchors and such. Dude, it's so dry over there, which I think the area you go to might have got a little rain, but dude, this is so dry.
Yeah, Obendorf got I think we got a rain last week, and I mean, I don't even think it was a quarter inch, and that's the first rain since, like, 2 days before I was there at the first weekend of August that had hit his farm. Like, I don't even know
No,
if he
I
got it at the house. It hit the one of the farms that I hunt.
I don't think Rob got it, but I think this Tuesday it's supposed to rain the majority part of the day. So I'm hoping his food plots, because he drilled them in. I mean, they're done right, but I mean, you can have the best drill ever if you don't get rain. It doesn't make much of a difference.
Michael had sent me pictures and, like, all the, I think we put down a fertilizer and maybe some lime or something while I was there in August, and over a month later, it was still sitting on top of the ground. Like, it
Hmm.
looked like the day we'd put it out because there'd been no moisture, anything. They had everything was smoked and brown, but that one rain, it came and it came almost probably 30 days plus after he had drilled, and you could see the rows starting to pop up. So if we get a couple more rains, it might just save it for us a little bit.
Yeah, it's crazy though, because um, the acorns this year, biggest I've ever seen. I mean, in my shorter life, gosh, they're huge, man. They're everywhere.
Just the
Like,
just in size or the quantity?
both, like the
Really?
size and quantity. Yeah, we went out to a church event, and they kind of had like a little gathering, and there's acorn trees. I mean, my son was. I mean, they were. I mean, just like couple, 2 inches long. Like, I don't even know how they were staying in the capsules.
Yeah.
And he was gathering them up, like they were just everywhere. And then we went to Illinois, and it's a pretty good hardwoods, and it's just like the whole floor. It's just like, I think some people have had some deer disappear, and it's like they're on acorns right now.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and, crops are still in. I know his home farm, he's not getting many pictures, and we have to believe that it's, the fact that there's corn in around him, but the other thing is, like, this EHD has hit several states back there, and you mentioned something about maybe finding a deer, and I've seen a bunch of pictures, and
So
I think we've gotten lucky on the one Illinois farm because we had EHD hit there 3 or 4 years ago, and dude, he put a pond in, uh, for one of those ones made for a deer. Forget how many gallons it is, little watering hole for deer, and it has become more of an attractant than the food plots theirself. This has been the best year for bucks on the farm there since he bought the place.
I know
So, it's
I'm
pretty
excited for you
exciting, actually.
guys. On the flip side, you brought up in Kentucky, which I have some places over there, and I picked up a new spot, and it looked really good. And I was running a camera, and like, man, I had a pretty good buck daylight. And I mean, I would say he's a mainframe 10, and now I know he had 3 kickers at the bottom, which I thought. And I would say a solid like 145. Deer I would have shot for sure in Kentucky with the bow. And I go over there, and man, I wasn't getting a lot of pictures at all, and this and that. So I'm like, I'm gonna move that camera a little bit down lower. It's kind of a bench. I may even kinda, put some mineral out or something just to attract, and I've been putting mock scrapes out, so, I'm like, if all else, I'll put a mock scrape. So I decided against doing food or anything. Well, I don't wanna spend too much money, because season's open here in Indiana, and Kentucky at this point is probably gonna be, number 3 on the list. And like I had heard that the county that I hunt was getting hit pretty hard. So that was a fear of mine. So I go to move the camera, come down the hill, and I pretty much covered about every inch of the property, besides some thick spots. And I found like this is where I want to, this is where I would want to hunt. I'm going to put a scrape here. So I'm about to come up this little draw. There's a nice little flat. And like I just got just a tiny whiff of something. I look over, like there's a buck. And like I look closer, I'm like, man, that's that buck that I had on camera. I think he would have been very killable. He was daylighting. It's probably his little home. And it wasn't by water. And but I can only assume it's CHD because that county's been hit really hard. So I went in and hung the camera, put my mock scrape out. Um, I've had some does hit it since then. This happened, I don't know, when we're recording this, it drops on Tuesday. So it's from Tuesday, probably almost a week ago. And just sucked, man. He still had a little bit of velvet on. So, I have pictures of him right around that time period, right before season opened. I think it opened on the 6th this year. So I would have to assume, probably in between the 6th and like the 15th, he probably died. And just sucked. And like everything was gone but the head. So I went ahead and contacted the conservation officer, and he's like, because I called the one here in Indiana. I'm like, hey, I just want to make sure I'm doing everything right. What do you recommend? He's like, well, call the local CO, and they'll probably issue you like a permit, because this is a pretty good deer. I would like
Yeah.
to. I mean, it can't transfer to us or dogs or anything, so I would like to, European mounted or something. And so I couldn't get a hold of him the first day, so I'm like, I'll call him next day, and I finally did. And he was super cool. He's like, I don't need to issue a tag or anything. He's like, just do me a favor and call the biologist and make sure they don't want samples, and then you can take it if you want. So I couldn't get a hold of the biologist. I've got a voicemail into him, so hopefully they call me back. But um, I don't know. Just sucks. I mean, we're hunters, and yeah, we want to harvest these animals, but you hate to see one get wasted. And pretty good deer, especially if you got another year. He would be
Yeah.
pushing, in the 150s, 160, probably for sure. He's at that age. I mean, if he's starting to get kickers, he's got a little bit of age to him. I feel like he had 3 or 4, good mainframe 10. So that was a shame, but I've got it over at the property still, just to ensure the biologist doesn't want it to get samples or anything. But there's not much to sample. There was a little bit of gunk I didn't see because I had the machete with me. When I kind of chopped it off there, it splattered a little bit on
Oh.
me. That made me so mad, dude. I was like, it's like everything was gone. I was like, oh, I just need to have this little bit of hide come off, and I think there's a little bit of spinal fluid. And I was like, it just made me. It's gross, dude. It was gross. I hate to admit it. Sometimes you gotta learn lessons the hard way, but
Oh, it sometimes it doesn't help because I hung my elk head in one of the trees at the house with a garbage bag on it, and it's just like, I'll get to it and clean it up a little bit. I wanted to get the brains and eyes out so I could transport it because I wanted to take it to North Dakota because I had my burner and stuff up there, and, I waited a little too long. I mean, I smelled it, but I was just like, "I'll put gloves on and take care of it," and it was hot, and just put it this way, the flies and the maggots don't take very long to clean up a head pretty well. So,
uh, yeah,
yeah.
it's
I
gross,
fed my
man. I
chickens. My wife probably wouldn't be too happy, but my chickens got a pretty good maggot supply from the head.
Well, my buddy, yeah, I used his walk-in freezer last year, and I cut the meat off there and this and that and deboned it. I'm like, you want me to, go take that somewhere? He's like, no, dude, we drag it out and let the chickens pick it. And he's like, they pick it clean. So
Really?
he'd killed a couple deer that year, and they drag it out to the chicken coop, and they'll pick that deer skeleton clean, man.
Yeah,
So
I would have no doubt. I couldn't
they
believe what that had done in a week with just the it was maggots from flies,
oh, dude,
and
yeah,
it
it's
was like,
nasty.
well, I mean, it was just like feeding it to the beetles, that people do. Like, it was pretty well taken care of,
Yeah.
but But I did get it all cleaned up and taken care of now. I wouldn't recommend that. The teeth were coming out and things like that, so it definitely had been worked over a little too much. That stuff
Yeah,
started coming apart when I was pressure washing it and everything, but boiled it up, cleaned it up, it don't look too bad.
yeah, we should probably do a video because it's not hard to do a European mount. You know, we have a way that we do it and how we get it pretty white. And not saying it's perfect, but if as long as you do it, like as soon as you kill that deer, if you're like, hey, I want a European mount it, you need to go and get the skin off of it, get all the flesh that you can, and then, you know, don't wait too long. It doesn't take long, especially if it's warmer out and you just need to go and boil it because I mean, people eat squirrel brains and such. It's just meat. You know, you're just cooking that meat and you just take it off there. I mean, heck, sometimes you can, you know, do scraps to the dog or this or that. And then we use peroxide. You know, Dad taught me that to you know make sure it's white. You just got to be careful because it'll soak up through. You can only leave it in peroxide so long, or you'll start bleaching. You know, the base of your horns.
Yeah.
So that's how we do it. And the peroxide also sterilizes everything, anything that was extra.
I've seen a couple videos recent of a way that I'd never even heard of or seen was they had a propane bottle that they empty out. Okay, you get all the gas out of it. You put a different type of port on there with a hose and you fill that with water and you stick that hose around the head and put it in a garbage bag and stick this hose into it. But you heat up that propane bottle that you have full of water and it's just steam that's coming out the top of that. You open up that nozzle on top and you have that hose running into the bag around your head and it steams that meat. You only got to do it for like maybe a half hour at the most and you'll steam it, pressure wash it, and maybe steam it again. And I seen I can't remember what that guy goes by on social media. He's up in Alaska doing it on moose head, and then I seen some people in the States doing it on a deer head, and it looked like a very fast way to do it.
That's interesting. Yeah, there's
Yeah, I mean, she had to bleach it after that, you know, she was all done to get it
yeah.
white, but it wasn't boiling the head. It was actually putting steam all around it to
What
loosen
you can
everything
do
up.
also to keep it white is clear coat it afterwards. It gives it a touch of a shine, but you know, it'll turn a little yellow after some time, especially if you have it like I've got my elk on the porch. It's covered porch, but still gets more weather than inside. Yeah, anyways, that was a shame. I've got a camera over there. I mean, my other farms are pretty close, so I'm kind of putting Kentucky definitely on the back burner. You know, you know, that was a pretty good deer that was daylight and early, you know, and I tried to go over there before we went out west, but even right now, you know, it would have been a decent deer to hunt because he was daylight and he felt comfortable. This spot's kind of secluded, I thought, and it's kind of a bummer. So I don't know, but Indiana's open. I think I might even slip out tonight. I've been looking on Facebook and I watched the different groups, and there's been some good deers fall and kind of the counties around me to, and, you know, they're hitting scrapes and they're starting and with the moon phase, and we do have a cold front that's kind of coming in early this week. I might try to slip out and and go a couple times. Usually I don't go too much this early, but I don't have anything daylighting per se. I have a couple good bucks. I'm not going to go to those farms. I want to leave those alone, but I've got a couple places that one place I'm not allowed to run a camera. Like the guy just didn't want a camera back there, but it's in a really good area. So I might slip over there and get a hunt slash scout in just to see where scrapes are and how I could slip in, you know, as October goes along.
Yeah, I was kind of surprised, you know, watching cameras in Illinois is we've got a lot of the buck groups are still together, which usually after velvet comes off, those bucks will separate. And these bucks are all together and they're all sparring. Every picture we see, they're
Really?
sparring and messing around with each other. He's got because he's been doing a lot of videos and he's got a ton of videos. And like they're not getting after it by any means, but they're just tinkling their horns together and stuff, you know. And
Yeah, I've had that a lot in the
he's
past.
got a
Not
lot
so
of
much this year.
he's got a ton of deer daylight, and I think He's going out this evening, so hoping that maybe he decides to shoot one here this afternoon. He's
Well, I
gonna.
hope he
I think
does,
he's
man.
gonna
I
hunt edges, but it's still warm, you know.
I talked to Corey and he sent like $3. I think it was today. Good deer, and they're daylight, and he had all daylight pictures. So he's going this evening. So good luck to him. And I think I'm gonna slip out if I have time. We're recording this a little bit earlier, so who knows? We might be doing another podcast. But man, I tell you what, I did kill one in early October once, and if you hunt multiple states, it is nice to get it done. In early October, if you can pattern one, because it leaves the whole rest of October in the rut. If you hunt another state or something, I would love that, but you know how it goes. I've last
Well,
year, heck, it was after the rut before it's just it's a marathon. You got to pick and choose. Less is more sometimes with whitetail, but it's a good
I've
time to get out there with the moon phase.
I've had 3 years where I did it up here. You know, the first couple weeks of September, and that was pretty awesome. I remember in Indiana, like the year I moved to Wyoming, is probably the only time I think I ever killed a buck early for back there, and I killed a buck on like October 5th or something that year. So that was one of my favorite years because I killed my first elk and come home and like a week later killed a Pope and Young 8 point there
Yeah.
in Indiana. But
When are you
um,
going to Illinois?
man, it's late. It's like the week before gun comes in. It's right in the middle of November.
Okay, so you're gonna go like third week, second or third. I think I'm gonna second week's what I'm thinking.
Trying to think of what I come back to work on the 29th of October, so it'll be 2 weeks after that. That's the 29th.
That'll be a good time.
I guess I'll hit Illinois on the night of the 13th probably. Maybe
It's
get
not
out
bad.
for evening on the 13th. A little
Are
later than
you
we got, but we see a lot. I mean, I know that some of that's coming out of, where they've been on lockdown, but man, we see some big deer right before gun season starts most of the time.
here lately? I like the second week of November over the first.
Yeah.
Especially, it seems like it's always still a little bit warm, but who knows? It could be. It's different every year, but it seems like the last 2 or 3 years, that second week, if you had to put in your vacation in January, I would tell you second week in November over the first.
Yeah, it has definitely been warm for the last handful of years, like 5. Pretty much
It's
it
almost
seems like
like,
we've had pretty warm Novembers.
yeah, it's almost like late October, and then it's like they go lock down the first week, and it's maybe warmer. And that second week, they'll get out and cruise around again. But every
Yeah, we
property's different.
we always thought we did pretty good there in Indiana. Um, that first week of October, and especially in around the 11th or so of November, and then for whatever reason, Illinois always seemed like it was just a touch later on when we did well, you know?
Yeah. Are you coming to Indiana any this year?
I don't know at all. I mean, it would just be like if Michael was done or we both got done, there early or something, then maybe. I mean, I always want to come there. It's just, he's also taking a week off to hunt with me, so I try to spend my
Mhm.
week there. I mean,
Yeah.
we'll get doe tags and stuff and continue hunting, but I'm hoping he gets a big one knocked down this year because it's been a little bit since he shot one. And he holds out. He's holding out for truly, giant. So me being out of state, it's more shooting what triggers it. Unless we've got the
Mm.
big deer there, then I'll hold out a little more. And then this year it may be that case a little bit, but we also have a couple bucks that are real old bruisers that aren't going to score very big that probably need taken out because they're running all the other deer off. One of them in particular is a 3x3, but he's a big, gnarly old 3x3.
That'd be
Like
neat.
he looks twice as big as most of the deer.
Yeah. Yeah. It's almost you almost wish you could get like a special tag to,
Yeah,
make the deer
exactly.
better. Like, I need an old bruiser tag.
Yeah, killing an old buck like that, I'd shoot him if I got the opportunity.
I mean, there's a lot of guys, they just go off age. Like, I know that the hunter podcast guys, like I mean, obviously they want good score, but like they go off age so much. And the age thing, like I agree with it, but man, I've let so many deer like try to get them older and this, that, like, man, I just don't have the properties they do. Like, if you do have that, but I think a lot of people don't realize what resources you need to actually follow that strategy. If you can only hunt 20 acres and a 3-year-old 150 comes out, you better shoot it. You
Yeah.
know, that's,
I
I mean,
mean,
that's just the honest, you better shoot it. If you're like, oh man, if he gets to 4, he'll be 180. Yeah, until little Joey right down the road has 100 acres that it lives on most of the time shoots it with, so I just, you better have a lot of
yeah,
farms and the resources. And yeah, I know if
if
we could get everybody on board, but you're not going to. So
yeah, if you'd have to really know your neighbors and know what they're gonna do. And even that sometimes don't work out because some guys, some
disease.
people can't judge as well and stuff like that, and they end up shooting a young deer.
Mhm.
But to
Yep.
to each their own, But
Yeah, no,
um,
I mean, obviously, we want them to get older and such, but you have to make that decision because
yeah,
it's a long,
it's
hard
hard
season.
with the properties we hunt for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. But well, what else, man? I mean, while we're gearing up for whitetail, I wanted to get a guest. We couldn't get it. I've been on a time constraint because I've been gone. I was in Illinois, getting back, trying to, this is Sunday, trying to get ready, and I'm going to hunt this evening. You got some pretty good elk hunts, and I mean, I guess we're totally not done with some of our group are still getting some good elk, and
Yeah,
and you got some really good hunts in with was it your niece, correct?
my granddaughter.
Granddaughter,
Um,
okay.
so yeah, elk hunting's still going on there in Wyoming and will be for a while. My wife has a cow tag that we will probably hunt in December. We're trying to let the elk get down off the mountain and get into the lower terrain, and gun hunt that. But I had I had an amazing hunt and have some amazing footage actually from it was one day, but it compared to 20 years of hunting out here. Basically, I got to go into a premier area and chase elk. I think we pulled in, and I mean on a 2-track on top of this area, and it's just getting light, and we see an elk, and I pull up my binos, and it's a 350 plus bull. Like I'm saying 350 on the low side. It was a giant 6x6.
And you know how to
Watch.
score 'em. I mean, some people will throw numbers, but you live out there, like, that's legit what you're
This
saying.
is probably the biggest bull I've laid eyes on personally. Like I've
Mhm.
been on one other 350, got real close, almost got a shot on him. And I haven't killed a lot of bull there, but I definitely know, 300. I'm very good knowing that. And there was probably 40 elk in this group, and just most of it was bulls. It was going nuts, screaming. So this is Cadence. She just turned 12. So we'd got her shooting my crossbow the night before because she'd practiced a lot with a gun. And her dad Corbin, my son-in-law, was not a big bow hunter. He's bow hunted a little bit. Well, the weekend before, I was supposed to go with him. Me and Dad and him were going to go out to this area, and I didn't know much about it. He just had been seeing elk on the regular and said it looked like it was a pretty good area. Well, Dad ended up having to be back to leave Wyoming in like 4 days from the time we were going to start hunting. So I told Corbin, I was like, I got to go down and elk hunt, so to get my elk out of the way. If we get done, I'll get back and I'll try to get with you. And he didn't really act like he was going to go. Well, I killed my elk and I get back and I found out that Corbin killed an elk, and he got all excited. He went by himself and he'd never killed an elk with a bow, and saw a bull, went and called in 2 little ones. And he calls in a bull that's got some mass on it, looks like a nice one. And he texts me, he's like, I messed up. I didn't count points. He said they were going nuts and come in screaming. And he made a great shot on a really nice 5x5. It was a heavy, mature bull,
Mhm.
but you know, he was totally ecstatic over it, and was very happy. Within half hour of me being there with him and Cadence the day we took her out after it was all done, like we moved around the herd and they were moving off. We were trying to cut them off and they kept going farther out, and we're hitting these fingers trying to predict which one they're going to come down through. And there's like 30, 40 animals moving through there. And the big bull moved off the other direction. We didn't even go after him because he was heading towards some private, and there was only just him. And this other group had multiple shooters. And, you know, Cadence not having much hunting experience or shot anything, we're not really concerned with what she decides to shoot. We're just going to kind of let her make that decision. We get over there and I see the herd's kind of already jumped down the hill, the 200 yards out in front of us. And I see one elk. And I was like, there's a decent bull over there. Get ready. And I let them set up and I'm filming and calling. And I was only like 20 yards behind them and thinking, I'm going to cow call where I can see this bull and see how he reacts. And I'm going to back down the hill. Okay. I cow call and I look at Corbin and I was like, he's coming. Like, I hit the cow call twice and this bull comes at a full run, screams like 3 times on his way in. And I've got footage of him at like 20, 25 yards doing a full bugle. And he's a really nice,
You need
he's
to
at
put that on
6.
social media.
I
think.
know.
Put it on
I
Instagram.
watched it. It's pretty
at
good.
least. Yeah.
It's he's a 6x5. You know, if he was 6x6, he'd be in the 300. He's a nice heavy bull. And her first experience elk hunting is that bull coming into 14 yards. And
Gosh.
at 14 yards, Corbin thought that the bull had seen them. And on the video, it just looks like he hits their wind right there. And he turns and looks at them. And he needed to take 2 more steps and he'd have walked out at like 12. You know, I could have shot him from my angle, but I was off. And I was kind of upset because I wanted to move downhill. But the dude, I mean, from that cow call, it's like 30, 40 seconds. He's on us. And I never lost sight of him. So I couldn't move out of the way. I had to just hide behind the tree that I'd got behind. So that was real close. And then we moved up the hill right after that. And Corbin tells me he sees 2 bulls. I call, they come right in. And they're 40, 50 yards and they're trying to, Corbin and Cadence are trying to get a shot at this thing. Okay. I see the bull and the one's got like 1 or 2 points on this side sticking straight up and then like a 4 point on the other. And the other bull is like a small 5x5. Well, after I called in that first one and seen all these bulls, I just shut up calling. And Corbin kept calling and I'm sitting there like 50 yards behind him. And I see Cadence look at me and I'm going, no, because I'm saying it's too small. And I felt bad because she's never killed an elk, but I'm like, I've never seen anything like this. Please don't shoot one of these stinkers, you know? Yeah. And I'd have been happy if she'd have got it, but it was just funny because I got up to Corbin and he's still excited about it and everything. And they almost got a shot at them, but I quit calling because I was like, I want them to leave because I wanted to keep hunting the area. And I got up to Corbin and he's like, I don't think you wanted us to shoot those. I was like, nope. I was like, I don't really care what she shoots. It's up to you guys. And I'll keep calling, but dude, I'd probably wait till you got a 6 point in front of you at least.
Well, this area is like a lottery, correct? I mean, it's not like she's going to be able to.
It's a regular draw area, but it's very, very limited. Like okay. It's one of those, what I call a premier area. It's very, very hard to actually draw it. He just randomly put in for it and they drew it this year.
God.
He had a real high success rate, I think is why he picked that area. You know, once you got not a high success rate for drawing, but a high success rate for killing once you had the tag. I'm killing a bull was what he was looking for. Man, that day just continued on. We went down the hill chasing the herd. See a big bull, which we think was the biggest bull besides that 350 bull. And I end up calling him in, and we had him all over him at like 60, 65 yards. And my crossbow is one that they got for me when I had heart surgery in 13. So it's nothing fancy. It shoots about what my compound shoots. It's about a 300-foot bow, feet per second. And anyway, we needed it to be 40 yards probably. And this elk works down, but he come and hit the trail that I wanted him to take multiple times to walk across on this ridge on the other side of this valley. and it would have been a 40-yard shot. That's what Corbin was set up for. And he comes to it twice and he turns around and he comes back. And it's like he knows to not hit that trail for some reason. He goes downhill and I'm watching him rake. And the cool thing is this place is open. I've never hunted elk in an open area like this. And it was very nice to be able. I liked being able to see the elk and watch how they responded to a call before I,
Yeah.
as I'm playing them, I don't want them to see where I'm at, but I can still get eyes on them enough to know what's happening and how they're responding to see what they
You're not
like.
used to that where
No,
we
not at
usually hunt in
all.
Wyoming.
Yeah, like I've heard elk like this before, but I've never been able to see every elk bugle while he's doing
Yeah.
it. And
We had that big one come across the meadow, and he was, like, you just don't get to see that very often, like, wide out in the open, usually you're hearing, like, they're close, almost like a turkey hammering, but, you know, which turkeys we have a lot more of, but I know what you mean.
yeah, I tried to run downhill on that one to make him think that I went down in the valley to make him come across that valley. And instead of coming at me, he circled the hill and came up. And I knew he was circling, but I thought it'd take some time. So I was trying to run back uphill to get to where Corbin and Cadence were to move them. And I run into this bull and I just kneeled down. And the thing, like, I know it seen me. It looked at me and then it turned the other way and was looking uphill, bugling at another bull. I had that bull at 20 yards broadside in the open. Like if I'd have been, if I'd have had a bow, I could have shot him. Probably the biggest bull I've personally called in 325, 330, 6 point, like really nice
Gosh.
bull. And I was so pinned down, I couldn't film him directly at that moment, because I was looking the other way. And we called in, man, I don't even know how many elk. I called in a bull that had two main beams on his right side and like 4 or 5 points on the other side. It's really cool. I got some footage of him. He's a young bull, but just unique. Multiple
Mhm.
other 6 points. And she actually, she had an opportunity that night and we didn't get the bull, but you talk about the first day ever elk hunting experiences. I called another 6 point into like 40 yards broadside of her. And yeah, I wished it would have ended different than it did, but you know, uh, it was a very close call with being able to get that bull. But at that
Well,
moment, I had that 6 point that was like 310 maybe, and I had like a 276 point 20 yards to my left, and a bull running behind me down the hill that I never was able to turn around and look at. Like I know it was another bull because he come in flying, and I couldn't turn around, which was making me nervous because he was like 20 yards behind me.
what a great experience, man, for you and for her,
Oh, yeah.
Uh,
I kept trying
gosh,
to
I've never
explain
seen
that
anything like
because
that.
that's why I kept trying to explain her. I was like, you got to understand that this is not something you're going to see every year, that this is special. A lot of people would pay a ton of money to experience what you've already experienced. The fact to call a 300-inch bull into you just don't happen all the time. I mean, unless you have some major high quality property to hunt. So
Yeah,
that was
that'd
quite
be
the
nice.
experience. And then I got some pictures last night. Justin Holder killed a nice 5x5 in the northwest part of the state. The with a gun. They went over there for a gun, I don't know, for a week or weekend. I've just talked to him a little bit through text, and then his brother-in-law, Matt, scored uh, I don't know what it would, I don't know how big a score-wise the bull was, but it was really nice bull. It was a 7x7. So,
Yeah, I
yeah.
saw those pictures, man. Congrats to those guys, and I hate to rush this, but I've got a hard stop here in a minute or two. But yeah, good luck to everybody out there. Whitetails kicking off, man. The moon phase is hitting pretty good, and we've got a cold front kind of coming in. Nothing crazy, but they're checking scrapes. It's their daylight, and it can happen. And I guess you're going to be hunting North Dakota a little bit, so good luck to you up there. Maybe you can get it done.
Yeah, I think I'll get to actually hunt quite a bit for whitetail here in October, and I'm gonna try to run home for a few days, and it'll be with a gun, but get my antelope tag filled and see if I can find one of these mysterious mule deer that I can't ever find.
Gosh. All right, man. Well, appreciate everybody listening. We'll see you next week. And that's all I got. Danny, you got anything else?
Just good luck and shoot straight to everybody.
All right. See you guys.